A multi-site cluster is high availability and disaster recovery in a single solution. The way historically that this was achieved was by buying two identical SANs, as well as SAN replication software to keep the data between sites in sync. So the key in a multi-site cluster is how do I get the data between sites so that in case of a failure, in case of a disaster, I've got my data sitting at the secondary data center. Now, SIOS makes this very easy and very flexible with a lot of different configuration options. You can set up a multi-site cluster with any number of nodes. I've got examples up here with both 3 and 4 nodes. Could be smaller, could be greater. If we take a look at some very common examples of implementing a multi-site cluster with SIOS technologies, the first one here is option A, and this is what I call a 2x2 cluster. In this example, I've got 2 servers at the primary site connected to shared storage, and 2 other servers connected to their own shared storage at the remote site. And in this configuration, you get both high availability as well as disaster recovery at either side of the data center. So you can fail over locally at the primary site. You also can fail over locally at the remote site. And in this configuration, SIOS is performing the real-time replication between the shared storage arrays at the host level. Now, this is great if you have multiple servers and you have SANs at both sites. It does not require identical servers or storage. Now, another option you've got is option B. This is what I call a 2x1 cluster. In this example, I've got 2 servers with shared storage at the primary site, but perhaps I don't want to or I can't afford the investment in a secondary SAN at the remote site. So here I've got a third system with local storage. And just like before, SIOS is going to replicate data from the shared storage over to the local storage at the remote site. Finally, in option C, if I don't want to make the investment in a SAN at all, this is what I would call a multi-site SANless cluster, or also known as a 1x1x1 cluster configuration, where I've got 2 servers here locally at the primary data center, and we're replicating data in real time there from the first server to the second system. At the same time, we're also replicating data to the remote data center from server 1 over to server 3 here. Now, this gives you the ability to both fail over locally as well as to the remote site. And in this type of configuration, there's no shared storage whatsoever. So whether you go with option A, B, or C, this gives you the flexibility to leverage the existing servers and storage infrastructure that you have available to you, while at the same time achieving both high availability and disaster recovery in a single solution.